Hello and welcome back. I have another game with the new carriers and now I advanced to tier 8 and I'm playing the US Lexington. In this particular game there are actually 2 CVs on each team. All of us are humans and all other ships are bots. There's also a very favorable matchmaking for me. Me and the enemy Shukaku are the only tier 8s. Every other ship is tier 6. So when you consider both that aspect and that they are bots and probably not full upgraded and so on, it's perhaps not representative results that we will see, but I think it still illustrates the potential that carriers have when they get to the higher tiers. We have seen tier 4 where it's quite difficult to do high damage. You basically need to be lucky with fires and floodings. Tier 6 perhaps a little bit easier, but still you don't have the strike power to easily get high numbers. Here at tier 8 you have so many planes at once, so many strikes for each squadron that you have enough opportunities to be able to rack up some good damage over the course of the game. I'm still not that far into this carrier play. I think that in the first tier 4 game I said I'd play maybe 15, but it might be even less than that. It might be something just over 10 or so, something like that. So you will see even in this game that I definitely don't play optimal. Some plays are downright bad. But even so, you see these strikes here from the rocket planes. And with one single squadron I managed to set 3 fires. The last one being a permanent one. And that is one of the strengths when you get to this tier, that you have enough strikes and you have decent enough fire chance, and as we will see with torpedoes here, you will actually have 3 attack planes for each run. So the chances of getting floodings and fires increases to a point where you can much easier get those additional damage from over time. And even if you lose some planes, you have enough to still be able to get the strikes through. So even though, like I said, tier 6 bots, not representative, but the potential is still there, and if you learn to play the CVs and you learn to play them well, this is what you will be able to achieve when you get here. This is actually my first game in Lexington and only the second in tier 8. Before this I played one in the Shukaku. So I cannot claim to have much experience. So everything I do in this game is achieved by basically being a noob in the new carriers. And if you watch other videos with the rework, you will have seen this plenty of times, that at the higher tiers you have massive potential, even if your alpha strikes are often not at all impressive. The number of strikes and damage over time will still have a pretty huge impact. It is hard to say if it will be lower or higher compared to the current state, but I don't see that the carriers will have any problems with being just as annoying and just as problematic as they are today, just in different ways. Now that particular strike that we just saw illustrates quite well the difficulty of using bomb planes. And obviously my approach was horrible, and someone has played more of them could have done that much better, but it just shows that even a battleship can turn quite easily, and force me to spend so much more time within the AA bubble, and I will have a hard time hitting and doing damage. So using the rocket planes or torpedo planes is significantly easier. Now with Lexington you can have different types of rocket planes, and here I selected one that only have 2 planes per strike, and I think it's only 4 rockets, it looks like, per strike as well. So it means you have to aim a bit more carefully than you can do if you have more planes or more rockets. That is the reason why I missed the destroyer the first couple of strikes. But even so, I have 4 strikes, so I can afford to miss a few. If you look at the rest of the carriers in this game, the 2 tier 6s are, as it appears, focusing on each other, and they will more or less forget about everything else going on. Me and the Shikaku are mostly ignoring each other. I am more interested in trying to check out the strikes rather than the attempts of hitting enemy aircraft with your fighter squadrons. I do send them out there, but most of the time I just try to go for the damage here.
We're under attack. Approaching target.
Now obviously my planes survive much better than they would in a less favorable matchmaking. And it also enables me to get so much more damage. But once again, someone who will play a lot of the carriers and learn how to play it properly, I'm sure they will be able to do the same and even better against even the worst matchmaking. Damage so far is perhaps not that impressive, and the number of ships are running out, but I am starting to get damage over time here. So it will continue to grow throughout the rest of the game. Now if you take a moment to look at the minimap, you will see the 2 tier 6 CVs doing their own thing over at the edge of the map, and they will continue all the way over to J10, where first the Ranger will kill the Rujo, and then the planes he still has left in the air will kill the Ranger. So they have a completely separate game from the rest of us. Now I managed to just pass 100,000 damage and gotten 2 kills. And if you have watched other games, you can quite easily see the difference in how much easier it is to do damage, and especially damage over time, since I have more strikes for each squadron. And for me that is really the biggest difference here, that once you get up to these tiers, you can just continue to strike the same ship over and over again. Of course, as with the lower planes or the lower tiers, even if you potato and lose all your planes, you still have 2 other types that you can instantly send out. And even if you potato all 3 of them, by the time you have done that, the first type will be ready again. So there really is no punishment to play badly in the carrier, as they are right now. The normal surface ships, they will continue to lose AA, and it will be easier and easier for me to strike them, but I have infinite planes and I don't lose anything from playing badly. The only thing I lose is damage.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Get a 3rd kill. As you can see, I'm still not even done with this run.
We're under attack.
So I can just continue to pump out more and more damage.
Returning, taking fire.
I do lose some planes there, even against tier 6. The US cruisers are generally very good in terms of AA. And especially if they have defensive AA, they will be able to shred your planes. Now the Ranger killed our 2nd CV over at J10, but he will go down shortly as well. So after that, then we still have 3 ships left, a cruiser, a battleship and Shukaku, while I'm alone together with 1 battleship, Queen Elizabeth. I will, however, be able to get a good strike with the torpedoes on the Dallas. And with 2 hits I managed to kill him, get both High Caliber and Confederate. And now I can move on to try and find the enemy Queen Elizabeth. We are completely equal on point.
Fighter airborne. Taking fire.
And since we are equal, I need to kill not only the Queen Elizabeth, but I also need to be able to get some good damage on the carrier, which we've seen before is not particularly easy.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Even though I lose some planes here, like we have seen throughout this game, I have enough planes to just continue to strike him. And bot or not, he doesn't have anything to really counter me with. I managed to get the strike off, and I will kill the Queen Elizabeth and get the Kraken as well. Our Queen Elizabeth is still alive, which will give me the advantage against Shikaku, because I will be able to start doing damage to him earlier than he will to me. And that will actually be the deciding factor in this game. Even though I haven't played that many games in carriers, one thing I have learned and that we have seen a bit before is that the most important is that you will at least get the first strike off. Sometimes you will be able to get the second one, but what you need to do against carriers is just constantly pump out planes. If you're lucky, you might get permafire or permaflooding and get some damage over time. But at least from what I've been able to do so far, sending plane after plane is sadly the best tactics against CVs. The Shikaku killed my last battleship, so it is 1 versus 1 here now.
Taking fire. Returning to ship.
But this will end in a tie unless one of us dies. I should actually mention that when you get to tier 8, you can actually heal planes here. I have to admit that I didn't really pay much attention to that, and I probably missed opportunities to use it. And when I use it here, I definitely used it in the wrong time.
We're under attack.
But that is an additional way to stay alive a bit. Did get a good strike with torpedoes, managed to land 3 of them. And I've definitely been able to do more damage to him than he has to me. I have passed 170,000 damage now. And that is even though I played this far from optimal and made mistakes, and it's only tier 6s, so there's less HP around, but still. I have been managed to do quite well. Bombers die, so don't get the second strike off, so what I do is I would send out my torpedo planes, because that is the quickest way to do damage to a ship, and
Present course.
he's close and does not really have that much HP left, so one good strike should be enough, and he shouldn't have time to kill me anyway. So I will end this game by killing Shikaku. I will have done about 193,000 damage, gotten 6 kills, 17 torpedo hits, 15 bombs, and over 20, I think it was 25 in the end, rockets. 6 floodings, 10 fires, unless I get maybe one here, but I'm not sure about that. Not that many planes, but I'm not really bothered with it. It's only 31, but still. So yeah, like I said, this shows the potential of the carriers, and they will definitely be not so fun to face them when they go live.